In our society, we have consistently, I mean, it plays out almost every week, there's an example of conflicting rights under the law. And I think in the case of unborn children or the most vulnerable, I mean, I think this is an issue not just among the unborn, but also people that there's a big movement now, increasing number of assisted suicides. The most vulnerable in our society need to be protected. They need to have legal rights, and as a society, we need to recognize their value and their worth. And so, as governor, informed by a deeply held belief that was informed by my faith, I tried to persuade people first. I don't think being judgmental and kind of coming down from the podium and telling them how it's going to be is the proper approach. You need to be respectful of the fact that in a diverse society, people have different views about this, but I don't think you pull back from your deeply held views. You need to persuade people that protecting an innocent child is a definition of who we are in the broadest possible sense. So in Florida, I got a chance to do that. We put restrictions around abortion clinics that weren't regulated like regular medical clinics.
Yeah.
We supported and ruled unconstitutional the first time parental consent, and then we now have parental notification. We banned partial birth abortions. We created many more options for adoption out of foster care and in general. We're the only state, I believe, to have funded with state monies crisis pregnancy centers to provide counselors so that these not-for-profits that in many cases aren't as well funded as many others could act on their mission, which is to provide broader support, but the actual counseling was done, paid for by the state. It was a godsend for these crisis pregnancy centers, and a lot of babies' lives were saved, and a lot of families got the joy of being able to bring a child up in their home. I mean, so Terry Schiavo is another example of this, where our laws in our country, in Florida in particular, made it hard for us to do this, and ultimately, Terry was starved to death. It was like 10 years ago in 2 weeks, I guess now. So I think we need to have a broader conversation about why we want to protect the most vulnerable, whether it's developmentally disabled or people at the end of their life or a child that's being brought into the world. We're defining ourselves by advocating for them.
Yeah. In the case with Terry Schiavo, I remember many of us were so supportive of the courage it took as governor for you to step out there, because in a culture that doesn't understand these concepts, you can take it on the chin. You're called all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And that happened in your case.
It
And
sure
people at first stood with you, and then they kind of began to dwindle, didn't they? They stepped back some and thought maybe it wasn't such a good idea. Any regrets?
No. I mean, I did this all within the confines of the power I had. And I was respectful of the fact that when I was elected and reelected, I put my hand on a Bible to swear to uphold the laws of the state of Florida. And that's a sacred oath. And so I didn't go beyond my authority. We passed laws that were ruled unconstitutional a year later. We did what we could.